Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be recapping my overall experience with the week on the TB12 method, but I'm not alone in this video. No, I am being joined today by really, at this point, a regular here on the YouTube channel. You've seen me promoting him multiple times in the community tab on my channel. It is Billy from ON the C. Billy, how are you, man?
Super. Happy to be here. Thank you for all that promotion, by the way. I really appreciate it.
Bro, no problem. Anytime. Now, I do want to say, I only spent a week on the TB12 method, whereas Billy has spent, I want to say, over a month at this point on the TB12 method. Is that safe to say?
That's definitely safe to say, yes.
So, first off, I don't know how you're alive, but, you know, we will definitely delve more into that. But you know, I guess first I want to give my initial thoughts on how my week was, and then I want to get your initial thoughts on how your month has been, okay? So real quick, overall, it was a fine week. I mean, I really feel like the TB12 method is no different from, you know, what other nutritional plans, what other, you know, life plans and things like that are really pushing out there. There are some differences in certain aspects, but in terms of nutrition and hydration and workouts and stuff like that, a lot of it has similar veins and similar, you know, I guess methods to what you've seen for other stuff. That's just me on the week. Billy, what have you felt in terms of the month, in terms of the overall, you know, I guess grand feeling of the whole month?
There's definitely similarities between the TB12 method and other things. I think the biggest thing I noticed for me was going in, I thought it was going to be kind of a diet. It was like a TB12 diet is how I kept referring to it at first. And then I realized it's really much more of a lifestyle. It's just more of a way of life than an actual eating plan.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, because like that's the thing too, is that like people don't really understand, like, oh, whenever you say like TB12 method, a lot of people assume, oh, it's just a diet, right? Well, no, it's like it's a whole book. It is a, if you go and buy the book, it's 150 pages of just like so much stuff and so many different things. That's what I kind of think makes it different than the other, you know, methods and lifestyle things out there, is that a lot of those, you know, you have just kind of eating and food and stuff like that, but Tom Brady's method takes it a whole nother level for the most part in terms of adding so much more. But the first thing I wanted to point out is the workouts. Now, I only did 2 workouts throughout the week because if I did any more, I'd probably collapse and die because I'm a weakling. But I will say I downloaded the TB12 app, and you had your preference of how much equipment you were going to use. The one downside I have towards these workouts is it really pushes you to use TB12 branded equipment. I almost said TB12 banded equipment. It uses a lot of those resistance bands, you know, and that's interesting because that's really different from what you see with other methods and other lifestyle programs. Is Tom Brady really doesn't believe in lifting weights. He doesn't believe in powerlifting or, you know, building up muscle. He believes in, you know, really sustainability with your muscles and the pliability before and after workouts. That's the arguably the number one principle or the top principle of the TB12 method, which is something I'd never even heard about before I started this method. So overall, I thought that it was a little disappointing to see that they wanted to push you so much to get all this equipment, but after you get past all of the, hey, buy this, hey, buy that, the workouts are generally okay. You know, Billy, I know that you haven't necessarily done much of the workouts, I guess, that are recommended in the book or even on the app or anything, but what are your thoughts in terms of like all the equipment, all the, you know, the workouts and things like that?
I think for me, the workout with the resistance band, I know they want you to get the TB12 weighted extra resistance band so you can follow specifically what they do. But a big thing that we did just across the board with the TB12 method was take what he tells you and kind of morph it into your own version. So you could, they're telling you to use, you know, TB12 branded resistance bands and things like that, but you could go anywhere and get a resistance band that'll do the job. You know, you don't have to stay as specific to exactly what they're telling you as the book would dictate. You have a little bit of freedom.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, that was one of the biggest things I struggled with too this week, was like trying to follow the book to the letter. You know, and me and you had actually talked about this through the week, where it's like, you know, you struggled at certain point, or I struggled at certain points because it was like, I got to follow this to the letter. I've got to do this by the letter, and it's like, I remember you had told me you said, not necessarily. I mean, it's kind of taking bits and pieces and kind of incorporating it into your own thing. That's literally, I mean, what I was forced to do for the workouts, because it was a situation where it was just like, I don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on this workout equipment,
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, just kind of like skipping all the equipment and just kind of going straight to just non-workout type stuff was fine. I thought the workouts were okay. The planks, the push-ups, the high knees, the conditioning, endurance, all that type of stuff. I thought overall it was fine after you get past all those paywall barriers, basically. The next thing I want to talk about, Billy, is, in my opinion, one of my more surprisingly favorite parts about this week, that being hydration. I thought that I didn't miss drinking non-water drinks as much as I thought I was going to miss it, Like, drinking water every single day, 98 fluid ounces of water every single day, I really didn't have a problem with it, I was having to use the bathroom a lot, I will say that, but cutting that stuff out, like soda, tea, all that stuff didn't bother me that much, and that's just from a week. I mean, I know for you had to cut out a lot of stuff that not a lot, but you had to cut out some of the drinks that you enjoyed. How's it been in terms of hydration for an entire month?
You hit the nail on the head. I can't believe it either. I used to love soda. Like, soda was oh my gosh. Just a can of soda. I used to have soda like at least once a day, I feel like, with dinner or with a meal or something. You go out, you grab soda, of course. And like, for me, eliminating soda, I thought it was going to be a really big deal. It was going to be a really difficult, like, barrier to get through. But after maybe like a week or week and a half or so, you just kind of forget about it. And the water really, it fulfills you. Like, it makes you feel fine. You're like, I'm thirsty, let me just grab some water. It becomes not really a big deal. And then, interestingly enough, I actually recently sipped some soda. I had some of my friend's soda. Or it was actually my girlfriend's soda. But I had some of my girlfriend's soda, and it actually bothered my stomach after I had it. Like, later that night, I went home, and my stomach was upset, and it took me a minute to think of why. And I was like, wow, I actually, like, reset my system to the point where my stomach no longer is capable of, like, it doesn't remember soda. Like, so it was bothered because it was like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you giving me this carbonated beverage? What am I supposed to do with this? And it was kind of weird because it's like, wow, you kind of just, you recalibrate your body in a sense. And that's a weird concept to wrap your head around, I feel like.
Yeah, and actually, one of the most important things I want to note, which I said this at the beginning of my week on, and me and you had talked about this, but Tom Brady drinking electrolytes with every single ounce of water that he has, I do not know if that is the healthiest thing in the world. I was told you can have muscle spasm problems with that. We have both tried the TB12 branded electrolytes. I myself did not mind them. Again, a little overpriced, $15 for a 2-ounce bottle of 2-ounce fluid bottle of electrolytes there. What are your thoughts on the TB12 electrolytes? Because I didn't mind them, but I thought maybe a little bit more expensive.
You could definitely argue they're overpriced, for sure. As far as the flavor, I got the raspberry and the peach mango. Yeah. I felt like they were decent. They're pretty good. They're not like a flavored drink when you put them in, so don't anybody get too excited like it's just going to have raspberry juice. It's not like that. But they're more of just an aftertaste to kind of make the water more exciting, I guess. But they definitely, doesn't bother me to drink them. And I wouldn't drink as much as Tom Brady does, and I don't. I drink just a smaller portion of electrolytes.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I will say too, I mean, it is still important. I would just probably drink electrolyte water, like maybe 1 bottle or 2 bottles a day of electrolyte water, and then just cut it off at that. Drinking water in the morning too, I have found was a really good way to get myself getting going in the morning with electrolytes in it. So I definitely recommend that. But the TB12 brand electrolytes, probably a little bit too expensive, but water with electrolytes themselves, I think that's fine overall. But Billy, next we're going to move on. This is my least favorite part of the week now, and you can probably guess what it is, but it's nutrition. At the first half of the week, I felt fine, and me and you have talked about this, okay? I don't hate eating healthy food. I'm obviously not used to it, and I don't mind it. It's not like I'm sitting there gagging, throwing up from having to eat vegetables or something, okay? It's nowhere near that bad. I'll eat a salad if a man has to eat a salad, you know? But the biggest problem I had was limitations in the book, okay? I remember I was scouring the book for, is this okay to eat? Is this not okay to eat? And all these different types of things. And there were certain situations where I just had to say, there's nothing I can do about this. I just have to say, screw it and cut a corner here. You know, with certain types of dressing throughout the week for salads and things like that, because it's, you know, restaurants can only offer so many different types of dressing. So if I had to do this again, it would have been a more expensive route probably, but I probably would have just went to a healthier grocery store and just made everything myself, and just definitely like meal planned or something along those lines. But overall, in terms of nutrition, first half of the week was fine, but it wore down on me as the week went on. Not because I was getting sick of the taste of food. Besides, I was getting a little bit sick of eating salads, but I just found myself grasping at straws trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to eat for lunch that fits in the book? What am I going to eat for dinner that fits in the book? What do you think in terms of nutrition now that you've been on this for a month?
Definitely the biggest thing. Definitely the most commitment to get it right in terms of, I think, any part of the actual method. It's difficult for sure, but you kind of get into a hang of it, I feel like, over time. You just have to be really creative with what you're doing, because you're limited, but you're what you got to realize is you're unlimited in what you can do with limited products. Like, you can only have a certain amount of things, but you can do anything you want with them. So it is definitely a challenge, and it takes time to get used to it. Like meal prepping, like you mentioned, that's almost a must, I would say, because it's very hard to go to a place that has things. Like, if you're just hungry at 9:30 at night, it's hard to go to a place that has things that are going to fit. So you kind of have to be prepared for what you're going to eat like a day ahead of time. So you know, this is what I'm going to have, this is what I got to do, so on and so forth. And you do have to make a lot of your meals. It's tougher to go out and find meals at a place, for sure.
Yeah, you know, and whenever the hardest thing for me is protein. It's just I can't even list all of the non things that a protein has to be for the TB12 method parameters. But basically, think of any type of fat or non-healthy thing, just slice it off. Just exclude it from your protein. The fish has to be fresh caught. It can't be raised in a farm. All these different types of things for meat and dairy and all these different types of things, which is fine. I get it. I remember I was talking about this with Gabby. It almost borders on like veganism almost, It's pretty close, minus the fact that it's a meat at the end of the day. But it really just, you have to cut so many different types of things off. So overall, if somebody else does go into this and does decide to pick up this method for themselves, I would recommend just making your own food rather than trying to struggle to go out to restaurants and things like that to try and find something, because that's going to be 100 times more difficult. Just go to a grocery store. There's plenty of, better options in terms of meat and protein and things like that. Again, it is going to be expensive. I mean, going into this method, there are some expensive parts to it. I would say nutrition's the most expensive, but it's definitely a lot better in terms of actually having more options available. Billy, the last thing I want to mention here is going to be, again, this is probably my favorite thing, and that's rest and recovery, right? I loved this chapter of the book. Me and you have actually been talking about this for months. And I want to say, the brain games that Tom Brady does to keep his mind sharp that are in the book, taking supplements, to help relax and calm your mind and your body, as well as, having the cell phone out of the room at night, having the TV off at the end of the night, going to bed early and then waking up early. You saw in the videos, I woke up at 6 a.m. and I really was going to bed when I was on schedule and I wasn't busy trying to upload videos and stuff like that. I was going to bed at around, I want to say 10 p.m., maybe 11 p.m. And that's honestly has been my favorite part of the week, because I feel mentally refreshed. I feel like I have a lot more time to prepare myself throughout the day, mentally and physically. And I don't like wake up and say, oh my gosh, I got to get all this stuff done now. I have more time to just relax, all the meditation that Tom Brady recommends at night and in the morning. I love that stuff. I do that anyway. But waking up early was a really big difference maker in my mind. What do you think?
I think the biggest thing again, you're hitting the nail on the head every time. I think the biggest thing with the TB12 method is arguably the sleep. It seems strict, and it seems a little like, at first when you read it, like, but it really does have a massive impact. Like, I don't follow the hourly sleep schedule. Like, I don't always wake up at 6, but I follow the sleep method. I make sure that the phone out of the room, TV always off. We didn't actually rip it off the wall, but we never turn it on in the bedroom anymore. We got the plants in the room, like you meant. Like, I know you have the money tree.
Yeah.
All of that stuff makes a huge difference, and it's something you don't think about. And Tom even talks about this in the book. He never used to think about what he slept on or how he slept. It was never it never crosses your mind. But a third of your life is really spent sleeping. So for me, it just changes, like you said, your mental sharpness, like your physical, just like energy, your physical, like natural energy just goes way up. I feel like you just feel better, like kind of, you just feel organically better and more prepared for the day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does, because, like, there's times when like you're stressing about something the night before, you wake up kind of late and you're just continue to be stressed out, What I saw from this week is, I woke up and I, had more time to just kind of relax, calm down, the meditation thing, taking, you have more time to get yourself mentally ready for a day, you have more time to mentally calm down and just kind of take a breath, relax, drink some water, you have time, and that was one of the more enjoyable things that I liked about this week. And that's definitely something I'm going to continue to do. But Billy, now that we are kind of going to be concluding here the week on, and I know that you're still going to be going here with the month on, I'm going to be picking up some stuff from this week. So kind of to give it a conclusion here, would I recommend the TB12 method to somebody? I would say I would recommend parts of it, right? I think that's the best thing. I would say hydration. Yeah, definitely pick up on the hydration. If you drink only water and you're drinking half your body weight in fluid ounces in water, that's a good system in my opinion. That really does keep you healthy. Drinking water in the morning with electrolytes, I think, is a very good idea, and then just keep drinking water throughout the day. Smoothies, protein shakes, take it or leave it. If you're working out, obviously drink a protein shake. Smoothie, I didn't really find it to be refreshing or anything. If anything, it just felt like something to put in my, just put down, just put in my stomach. But I recommend hydration 100%, the methods of hydration from this book. And then I also highly recommend the rest and recovery. Making sure that you're going to bed at a proper time, making sure that you have no distractions when you go to bed and that you're waking up at a certain hour. I recommend that a lot. In terms of the workouts, yes, you can do some of them, but I wouldn't recommend the equipment to go with them. I would just recommend some at-home, non-equipment based workouts that you can probably look up online or something like that. And then in terms of nutrition, I don't know if I would go that extreme with the nutrition. There is a little bit, I would say there's some veins and some lines there that are on the right path, but it gets a little off the rails whenever you're just going crazy with it, in my opinion. But Billy, I want your overall thoughts on how you feel about the TB12 method. What's some stuff you would recommend for people to put in their day-to-day lives, and what's some stuff you would probably not recommend?
I would not recommend the excessive electrolytes, for sure.
Right.
I think for you got to look at it. I think it's worth it to get the book and read the book. And then you have to be self-reflective. You have to know yourself and know what you can and can't do and what you can work into your day, things like that. Everybody's schedule is different. Everybody's body's different. But you can read the book and treat the book as more of a guideline, kind of a vague overview, as opposed to a strict plan. And then take from it what you think will benefit you the most. Like, for me, it wasn't really the working out. That, to me, wasn't the biggest thing. For me, the hydration and eating healthy is huge, and then the sleeping. Like, those are the things for me. Just getting a good night's sleep. It's not necessarily, to me, about the hours you sleep, like whether you sleep 6 to 6 or 7 to 2 or 12 to 10. It's not really about the hours. It's about the quality of that sleep when you get to sleep, so that you wake up feeling like the next day you're not, like, dragging. That's the biggest part for me. And then eating right is kind of all factored in, because in reality, I think one of the big things I noticed probably on the TB12 method is food is not just for fun. You know, like I used to look at food, it's like, oh, I love food, I can't wait to eat this. Food is meant to be fuel. So it's really meant to get you and get your body rolling. So if you fuel your body correctly, it will give you better results, you know, and that's just logic. You know, like a lot of the method is really rooted, a lot of it is a little over the top, like you're talking about. A lot of it is really very strict and nuts, but a lot of the concepts are based in just logic. So you go through, sift through all the madness, if you will, and you find the stuff that works for you, and then you kind of build around that and make your own version, I would say.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that 100%, you know. And just kind of to end it on a quote here, you know, there were times when I was sitting there and, you know, certain foods I was really just not enjoying. And Gabby had said, you know, why don't you just stop? Like, food's meant to be enjoyed. And I said, no. I said, you know, I got to put this down because I need food. You know, I got to put this down and I know this is good for me. So just put it down, you know. Though that's kind of a mindset you have to have until you at least adjust to eating food like that, you know, until your body can adjust to that. But, you know, with that being said, this is it, Billy. Now the week's over. The week on is done. It's officially done. I made it. We made it. And it was a phenomenal experience. So guys, with that being said, we're going to end off this series here now. Billy, thank you so much for joining me, by the way. And for everybody who is watching this video, Billy will be a part of another video that will be talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and some other stuff that we have planned. So, Billy, before we cap off this series now as a whole, do you have any final words for everybody here who has been keeping up with this series?
I hope you guys enjoyed it because James definitely put in a ton of work into this thing, and it may not even you might not even realize all the stuff behind the scenes, but he put in so much work into the series and it came out really freaking good. So I hope everybody really appreciates the time that was put into it.
It took a lot of planning and resources. That is all I will say.
Yeah.
But guys, we're gonna end off this video. Billy, thank you so much for joining me yet again. I will have a link if you guys want to subscribe to ON the C, the YouTube channel. I will have it down in the comments section as well as the top of the description in this video. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. We will see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs. See you guys soon.